Hey, good evening, everyone. Today we're going to talk about a really nice error that you could find in your change. So check everything: your pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, half dollars, for these kind of under the radar type of errors, and they could be easily passed up for this one reason. First of all, we're going to talk about exactly what it is. And if you look on this Lincoln cent right here, you can see that there's a chunk of metal that's raised right here. Get a little bit closer. There we go. That is called a cud, also known as a die break of sorts. A cud usually takes place right on the rim. So if you had something like this in the middle of the coin, it would just be a die break, an internal die break. A cud, however, is just this is an example of a coin that had a broken die. So a piece of the actual die that struck these coins chipped off and fell off. So now you have a coin that transfers this void right here, and it's a pretty cool looking error. And I always tell folks, anytime you find one of these, it's like throwing $15-20 in your pocket, sometimes even more, depending on how large and crazy these things get, because that's literally how much these things sell for. And I would say that if you were to go through $100 worth in pennies, you could probably find one or two of them. I've had pretty good luck with these in the past, but I wanted to take some time to share exactly what these are. So if you come across them, they're really easy to just kind of throw back into the pile, because they could either look like, just some sort of glue, or if it's on like a quarter or a dime or a nickel, it would just look like a big clump of solder that someone had just, placed on there at one point or the other for whatever reason. It doesn't matter how weird it sounds or whatever. But the die breaks look much like this. This is a 1936 Lincoln wheat cent, by the way. And usually with the die breaks like this, if you flip it over, the spot where the die break is on the reverse, on the corresponding side of it, would show up as weak, because you don't get a full strike because there's a void there. So if you look at E pluribus unum on the top of this coin, right here at the beginning of pluribus, with that corresponding cud on the backside, you'll see the weakness. It's not as sharply struck. Now that's one example of a cud. Here's another Lincoln cent. This one is actually a 55 or 59D rather, with the same cud right there at the base of the bust of Abraham Lincoln. And again, that's definitely something that can be thrown out if you're not careful. Again, if we just pull this here aside, you'll see the wave right here of the coin, and that's just going to be where the cut is, because it's a void in the die after it breaks off. So at that point, anytime you have a chunk of the die that falls off, it's pretty much terminal. It's not going to be too far longer than that. Uh, you'll have an inspector look through the dies one last time, and then they're going to say, hey, there's a chunk of die missing from this one. We're going to have to replace it. So it's not like there's an overabundance of cuds out there, but these are neat finds nonetheless. And again, I would say out of every $75 to $100 in coin that you look at, especially pennies, you're going to find one. And these can occur anywhere on the obverse or the reverse of the coin. So you can find the cut on here. And just like on the wheat set example, right here, right at States, United States, right here, that's where you get to see the void. So it's not sharply struck because of that die break. Now here's a coin that I had found in a roll. I actually pulled this one right out of a roll of dimes that I broke on video for you guys. And this one has the cud right here on the back of Roosevelt's head. See that right there? See how close I could get here. But in any event, this is probably one of the neatest errors. Again, that totally looks like it could be, just a chunk of metal or solder that someone had just inadvertently put on the coin. On the reverse, you're going to have the little bit of weakness and void right here on the bottom of dime, the M and E. All right, so that is a Roosevelt dime. And I have one more to show you, and this one is actually courtesy of Chuck Daughtry of coppercoins.com. He sold me this example. This is a West Virginia state quarter. This one is on the reverse, and then you can see the cut right there. This one's a little bit more subtle, but the fact that it's on a state quarter is fantastic, because I kind of like the state quarter series, and to find one with a cut right here, and I bought it affordably. So thank you, Chuck, for that. So this is another example of a cut die break on a quarter. On this one, you're not going to see too much weakness, maybe a little bit in TED of United right there. Now, there are examples where like half the coin is all broken off, and yeah, so a few coins, few examples of that half break of the die have been struck onto coins, and those things sell for between $100 to $300. Again, really depending on how many's out there, and the extremeness of the break, because if the breaks get huge, man, they are worth some money. So yeah, this is cut die breaks. A quick little video for you. Again, like I tell people, it's one of those things that you find one in your pocket change, and I tell them, I'm like, hey, you just found yourself 15-20 bucks, you know, something you could put in your pocket. So it's pretty neat, and definitely one of those things you guys have to keep out for. Again, if you think it might be some other foreign substance on there, like glue or paint, you could always do an acetone rinse or a dip. That'll dispatch that right away, and just rinse it with distilled water afterwards so you don't get the spotting. And do not clean it with any abrasives of any sort. No sponges, no steel wool, not even paper towel for that matter. So one last time, let me go ahead and show you the first Lincoln wheat cent, and I also have a normal Lincoln wheat cent here. So you get some of the focus on. There we go. So one with the die break is on the left, and the other one, the 1945, does not have a die break. All right, it's pretty neat. Yeah, you know, it's one of those things. I think myself personally, I found about 20 or 30 of them just coin roll hunting. There are examples that I've purchased as single pieces off of like eBay and Amazon and that sort of thing, and off of the Facebook buy sell trade sites. So yeah, they're an interesting, neat part of collecting. It's not something that, you know, you go into and you figure you're going to be spending thousands of dollars. I mean, you could, I suppose, but if you wanted to find a niche collecting type of avenue to head down towards, collecting die break cuts is fantastic. In fact, I know a couple people that do it, and you know, you spend $100 a month, you get a lot of really nice examples. So that pretty much wraps it up for cut die break coins. Thank you for joining me, guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.